Welcome to Monk's Temple. Find a place where you can be still. It might be a favorite chair as evening falls in Sao Paulo, or a quiet corner of a library in Seoul. Wherever you are, let your body settle. Notice the points of contact, your feet on the floor, your back against the support. Let your eyes soften. There is a story that has traveled through time to find you, not to change you, but to remind you of a truth you have always carried. Imagine a house. Not just any house, but the oldest house in the world, built into the side of a silent mountain. This house has many rooms. Most of our lives are spent in the front rooms, the room of planning, with its calendars and lists ticking like clocks, the room of memory, where old photographs whisper and sometimes shout, the room of worry, dimly lit and full of shadows of what might be. We rush between these rooms, dusting the furniture of thought, rearranging the heavy drapes of emotion, believing this upkeep is our life's work. But deep within this house, down a quiet corridor we've forgotten, there is a final room. The door is not locked. It never was. It's simply been ignored. This is the unchanging room. Inside, there are no windows because it needs none. It is illuminated by its own gentle, sourceless light. There is no furniture to arrange, no dust gathers here. The air is still, yet infinitely alive. This room is never disturbed. Not by the storms that rattle the windows in the front of the house, not by the celebrations in the hallways. It abides in perfect, serene completeness. You own this house. And that room is your true home. The journey we begin tonight is not about building a new room. It is a journey of remembrance. Of turning away from the noisy, furnished front rooms and walking down that inner corridor to simply sit, once more, in the space that has never been touched by chaos. The founder of this path, 25 centuries ago, didn't create this room. He simply found the door, walked in, and then spent his life leaving a trail of breadcrumbs for the rest of us to follow. His breadcrumbs are not beliefs. They are practical instructions for navigating the hallways of your own mind. Let us start with a story, a simple one from a modern kitchen far from any mountain. In a small apartment in Montreal, a man named Leo was making soup. It was a dreary November afternoon, rain tracing gray lines on the window. His mind was everywhere but on the soup, on a missed promotion, on a strained call with his sister, on the relentless drumbeat of news from his phone on the counter. He chopped an onion, his eyes watering from more than the fumes. He was following a recipe his late father had loved, but he was miles away, lost in the room of memory and the room of worry at the same time. As he reached for the broth, his sleeve caught the edge of his father's old, faded recipe card, sending it fluttering into the simmering pot. For a second, he stared, horrified. Then, a laugh bubbled up from somewhere deep, a real, unexpected laugh. He fished out the soggy card, its ink now blurring into the vegetables. In that absurd moment, all the mental noise stopped. He was just a man, with a wooden spoon, fishing a recipe out of a pot. The smell of garlic and thyme filled the air. The sound of the rain became a rhythm, not a mood. For those few minutes, Leo wasn't in the front rooms of his mind. He was completely in the kitchen. Present. And in that presence, a profound warmth spread through him. Not from the stove, but from a sudden, visceral connection to his father, to the simplicity of making soup on a rainy day. The peace he had been seeking in a promotion, in a resolved argument, was here, in the acceptance of a spoiled recipe and the reality of steam and scent. He had, without trying, stepped into a quieter space within. He had brushed against the door to the unchanging room. That is our starting point. The possibility of presence. If this notion of finding a quiet space within the noise speaks to you, consider subscribing to Monk's Temple. By joining, you help keep this sanctuary of words available for all who seek it, and you remind yourself to listen for that inner corridor. We often misunderstand peace. We believe it is the absence of noise. We think it is the final, perfect arrangement of all the furniture in our front rooms. If I can just get this job, mend that relationship, achieve that goal, then the noise will stop and I will be peaceful. This is the great mirage. Peace is not the absence of the storm. It is the discovery of the place within you that the storm cannot reach. Think of your mind not as a house for a moment, but as the deep ocean. The surface can be anything, a glassy calm under a noon sun, churned into violent, foaming peaks by a hurricane, stirred by gentle swells. This is the ever-changing weather of your life, your emotions, your thoughts, your daily experiences. Most of us live identified with the surface. When it's calm, we think, I am peaceful. When it's stormy, we believe, I am anxious and troubled. We are tossed about, clinging to driftwood during the gales, basking in the sun during the calm, at the complete mercy of elements we cannot control. But the ocean has a depth. Beneath the surface, down where the light fades to blue twilight, there is a realm of utter stillness. The most violent hurricane cannot stir the water 1,000 feet down. The pressure is immense, the quiet absolute. Life exists here too, but it moves with a different, slower rhythm. This depth is always present. It is the foundation that holds the entire ocean. Your consciousness is this ocean. The surface changes are your temporary experiences. The deep, still, silent depth. That is your true nature. The unchanging room. You are not the storm on the surface. You are the vast, deep, silent ocean that contains it. The practice is not to stop the storms, they are a natural part of the atmosphere. The practice is to learn to sink beneath the surface, to rest in the depth, and to know yourself as that which holds the weather without being disturbed by it. This understanding shifts everything, especially our view of the most powerful force in our lives. Cause and effect. We have watered down, twisted this law into a cartoon of cosmic revenge and reward. We call it karma, and imagine a stern accountant in the sky, doling out prizes for good deeds and penalties for bad ones. This is a child's understanding. The true law is as elegant, impersonal, and precise as gravity. Imagine you are standing before an infinite, perfectly still pond at dawn. The water is so clear it reflects the sky without a ripple. In your hand, you hold a handful of seeds, different kinds. Some are seeds for lotus flowers, beautiful and fragrant. Some are seeds for thorny, choking weeds. Your thoughts, your words, your actions, these are the seeds. Every moment, you are casting seeds onto the pond. You don't always get to choose which seeds are in your hand, old habits supply many of them, but you are always responsible for the act of casting. The seed hits the water. It sinks below the surface. For a time, nothing seems to happen. But beneath the water, a process is beginning. The seed germinates. A root reaches down. a shoot reaches up. In time, it breaks the surface. The lotus flower blooms, spreading beauty and fragrance across the pond. Or the thorny weed breaks through, tangling and snagging. This is not a reward or punishment. It is a simple, natural process. Cause, casting the seed. Effect, the plant that grows. Now, see the pond not as isolated, but connected by a million underground streams to every other pond. The roots from your plants intertwine with roots from other ponds. The fragrance of your lotus is carried on the wind to other shores. The thorns from your weed can snag a swimmer from a neighboring pond. Your private pond is an illusion. You are gardening in a shared, interconnected ecosystem. The quality of your seeds doesn't just determine your own view. It changes the quality of the entire network of life. You planted a seed of harsh words yesterday. You may not see the thorny stalk today, but you will feel it scratch eventually. You planted a seed of patient listening this morning. The lotus may take time to bloom, but its fragrance will find you. This is not mystical. It is the ecology of the mind and heart. Our intentions are the most potent seeds of all. An action done with grasping ego is a weed seed, even if it looks like a flower. An action done with genuine care, even if small and unseen, is a lotus seed. I remember witnessing this in a bustling train station in Mumbai. The heat was a physical weight, the noise a solid wall of sound. A young mother, overwhelmed with bags and a crying toddler, was trying to purchase a ticket at a crowded counter. The clerk behind the grill, a man with a tired face, was snapping at everyone, his voice a sharp instrument of frustration. The woman, flustered, dropped her wallet. Coins skittered across the filthy floor. For a moment, she just stood there, on the verge of tears. Then, a teenage boy who had been leaning against a wall, listening to music, stepped forward. Without a word, he crouched down and began gathering the coins. He didn't smile, didn't look for thanks. He just collected them, placed them back in her wallet, handed it to her, and gave the tired clerk a steady, calm look. Then he melted back into the crowd. The clerk stopped. He took a breath, his shoulders dropping an inch. He processed the woman's ticket carefully, even pointing her toward a quieter platform. The woman, her child now quiet, walked away with a different bearing. A single, seedless act, a moment of uncalculated, compassionate attention, changed the ecosystem of that entire corner of the station. The boy planted no seed for himself. Yet, in the interconnected pond, he cleared a space for a lotus to bloom in someone else's experience, which then allowed another to bloom. That is cause and effect in its pure, compassionate form. But to garden wisely, we must understand the most fundamental question: who is the gardener? We assume it is this solid, persistent self we call me. I am Leo, the man making soup. I am the boy in the station. I am the one who suffers and enjoys. Our entire life is a project of building, defending, and decorating this self. It is our most cherished possession, and the source of our greatest pain. Because here is the liberating, terrifying secret the ancients discovered: the separate, solid self is an illusion. It is a work of fiction, brilliantly and convincingly authored by our own minds. Let's investigate. Look for this self. Is it in your body? Your body is a process, a river of cells being born and dying, entirely remade every 7 years. The child in your photo is literally not the body you inhabit today. Is it in your thoughts? Your thoughts are transient, appearing and vanishing like weather. The beliefs you held 5 years ago may be gone. Is it in your memories? Memories are not fixed recordings but stories retold and subtly altered each time. Is it in your name? A label given to you. Your job. A role you play. Peel back every layer of what you call to me, and you find only temporary, contingent processes, a body, a stream of thoughts, a bundle of habits, a collection of stories. You find components, but you never find a central, permanent, independent commander. You are not a noun. You are a verb. You are not a statue, but the act of dancing. Not a finished painting, but the process of painting itself. The mind creates the illusion of a solid self the same way a spinning sparkler creates the illusion of a solid circle of light. There is no circle, only a rapid, sequential series of points of light, and the mind connects the dots. The self is that connecting, that story-making. Seeing this clearly is the end of a profound burden. If there is no solid statue to defend, you stop defending. If there is no fixed portrait to protect from criticism, you are free to listen. The ego is a ghost wearing armor, fighting battles for a kingdom that doesn't exist. This does not mean you don't exist. It means you exist differently than you thought. You are not a wave fighting for its existence against the ocean. You are the ocean, temporarily experiencing itself as a wave. The wave's form is real, its dance is beautiful, but its substance is, and always was, ocean. When the wave knows this, its fear of crashing dissolves. It knows it is just returning to its true, vast nature. This is not nihilism. It is the ultimate homecoming. The freedom of the dance comes from knowing you are the dancer and the dance floor, and neither can be destroyed. This truth, of no separate self, of interbeing, is the foundation for a life of genuine compassion. When the walls of your imagined self soften, you realize the other is not truly other. Their suffering vibrates in you because you are made of the same fabric. Helping them is not charity, it is tending to your own extended being. This leads us to the heart of practice, the cultivation of attention, the path of the Eightfold Way, not as rules, but as descriptions of how a clear mind naturally functions. But that is where we will continue. For now, let this settle. You are the ocean, not the storm. You are the gardener in an interconnected pond. You are the occupant of a house with an unchanging room. Nothing has gone wrong. You are not broken. You are simply, temporarily, fascinated by the furniture in the front rooms. If you're ready, let us continue our walk. We've touched the truth of the unchanging room, the deep ocean beneath the storm. We've seen the illusion of the solid self and the interconnected garden of cause and effect. Knowing this in theory is a map. But a map is not the journey. The journey is lived in the texture of your day. In the taste of your morning tea, in the hesitation before a reply, in the weight of your footstep on the pavement. This is the art of attended living. It begins with the simplest, most radical act, coming home to where you already are. Most of our suffering is not from the events themselves, but from our absence during them. We are time travelers, ghosts haunting the past and future, while life happens in a present moment we barely notice. We eat a meal while planning a meeting, tasting nothing. We listen to a friend while rehearsing our story, hearing nothing. We walk through a park while scrolling a screen, seeing nothing. We are so busy doing life that we forget to live it. It is a profound and pervasive sleepwalking. The first practice, then, is waking up. Not once, but again and again. In the ancient language, this is often called mindfulness. But let's strip that word of any specialness. Let's call it full attendance. It means showing up completely for your own life, as it is, without demanding an edit. Imagine you have been given the most exquisite, rare, and fragile instrument in the universe, a single-string violin, carved from dawn light and mountain air. Its music is the music of reality itself, pure, direct, unfiltered experience. This instrument is your capacity for present moment awareness. But instead of playing it, you have left it in its case. On top of the case, you have built a complex, noisy, mechanical player piano. This machine is your thinking mind. It is programmed with all your old songs, the symphonies of worry, the tinny tunes of memory, the repetitive jingles of planning and judgment. It clatters away day and night, and you have come to believe its sound is the only music there is. You've forgotten the silent, perfect violin inside. Full attendance is the gentle act of turning off the player piano. It is opening the case. It is not even necessarily playing the violin, just lifting it out, holding it, feeling its weight and potential, and remembering what real music sounds like. The real music is the sound of the wind right now. The feeling of breath in your nostrils. The sight of light on the wall. This is not a practice of achieving bliss. It is a practice of authenticity. Sometimes the note played by reality is sweet. Sometimes it is discordant and painful. The practice is to listen to it all, to attend to it fully, because it is the true sound of your life. From this foundational attendance, a natural wisdom unfolds. The ancient path described 8 facets of this awakened life. They are not steps to climb in order, but interconnected qualities, like the facets of a single crystal. When light hits one, it illuminates all the others. Let's explore the first few, not as commandments, but as descriptions of how a fully attended life looks and feels. The first facet is wise view. This is the clarity that comes when you see the player piano for what it is, a machine, and remember the violin. It is seeing thoughts as thoughts, not absolute truth. It is seeing emotions as weather, not climate. It is understanding the law of the seed and the pond. Wise view is the end of the war with what is. You see that everything, pleasure, pain, success, failure, is impermanent, interconnected, and not self. This isn't a pessimistic view. It is the ultimate realism. When you stop demanding that the ocean have no waves, you can learn to surf. From wise view flows wise intention. This is setting your inner compass. Before action, there is impulse. In the gap between impulse and action, wise intention asks a quiet question: is this moving me toward clarity and kindness, or toward confusion and harm? It is the moment you choose to water the lotus seed instead of the thorn seed, not because you're good, but because you see the future garden clearly. It is choosing curiosity over judgment, generosity over scarcity, peace over righteousness. It is the decision to walk toward the unchanging room. These inner qualities naturally express themselves outwardly. The third facet is wise speech. If wise view is seeing the interconnected pond, and wise intention is choosing the right seed, then wise speech is casting that seed with care. Words are powerful. They are the first visible manifestation of thought into the shared world. They can be medicine or poison, a balm or a blade. Think of speech as having a temperature. Reactive, harsh, gossipy, dishonest speech is hot. It burns the speaker and the listener. It pollutes the pond. Mindful, true, kind, necessary speech is cool. It clears the air. It refreshes. The test is simple, a 3-gate check. At the first gate, ask, is it true? Not just factually, but am I speaking from my genuine perception, not from rumor or assumption? At the second gate, is it kind? Will these words create connection or separation, ease or suffering? At the third gate, is it necessary? Does it need to be said, by me, right now? If the words can pass all 3 gates, speak. If not, the most powerful and wise form of speech is often compassionate silence. This isn't about being placid or never setting boundaries. Sometimes the truest, kindest, and most necessary thing to say is a firm no. That, too, can be cool speech. Let me tell you a story about speech from the high, wind-scoured plateaus of Patagonia. An old gaucho, a ranch hand, was known for his few words and deep integrity. 2 young ranch owners were in a bitter dispute over a water rights boundary. The argument had festered for years, poisoning the community. They finally agreed to bring it to the old gaucho, whose wisdom was respected by all. For a full day, each man presented his case, with maps and documents and heated rhetoric. The old man sat on a fence post, whittling a piece of wood, saying nothing. At the end of the day, the men fell silent, exhausted. The gaucho stood up, pointed to a particular bend in the dry riverbed marked on both maps. The water, he said in his slow, gravelly voice, does not care about your lines. It only knows how to flow. Your quarrel is with a line in your mind. The land is thirsty. Dig the channel together here, and it will drink. Then he went back to his whittling. His words were true, the water's nature, kind, offering a solution, not blame, and necessary, ending a futile conflict. They were cool. The men, shamed into sense, did as he suggested. The shared labor healed more than the land. Speech flows seamlessly into action. The fourth facet is wise action. This is living your understanding in the world of doing. It extends care beyond words. It is ethics in motion. The guideline is simple: refrain from causing harm. Do not take what is not given. Do not misuse intimacy. Do not cloud the mind with intoxicants that lead to heedlessness. But wise action is more than restraint. It is proactive care. It is picking up the litter you didn't drop. It is letting the merging driver in during heavy traffic. It is the unseen kindness, the anonymous gift, the patient tolerance of another's flaw. It is recognizing that every single action, no matter how small, is a stitch in the fabric of the shared world. You are either weaving a pattern of harm or of healing. I witnessed wise action in a most unexpected place, a crowded government office in Lisbon. The line was long, the air stale with frustration. An elderly woman was struggling to fill out a complex form, her hands shaking. The clerk behind the counter, a young woman with tired eyes, had every reason to rush her, to stick to the script. Instead, she saw the struggle. She came out from behind her bulletproof glass partition, pulled up a chair next to the old woman, and slowly, gently, guided her through each field. She didn't do it with a showy sigh of martyrdom, but with a simple, quiet presence. The entire mood of the line changed. The impatience evaporated, replaced by a collective, unspoken respect. One person's wise action transformed the ecosystem of that room. It was a living demonstration that our behavior is contagious. We spread agitation or peace with every gesture. These facets, view, intention, speech, action, begin to shape a life. But a life must be sustained. This brings us to the fifth facet, wise livelihood. How you earn your living is not separate from your spiritual life, it is a primary expression of it. The question is not, what is my job title, but, does this work create more understanding and lessen suffering, or does it create more confusion and harm? This is a profound and personal inquiry. It doesn't mean everyone must work in a hospice or a temple. A financial advisor practicing with integrity, helping people find security, is engaged in wise livelihood. A factory worker who takes pride in crafting a quality product that helps others is engaged in wise livelihood. The key is the intention and the effect. Does your work require you to lie, exploit, or cause harm? If so, it will be a constant source of inner conflict, a thorn seed you are paid to plant daily. Wise livelihood is aligning your daily effort with the compass of your wise intention. It is making your work an offering, not just an extraction. All of this requires energy. It requires the sixth facet, wise effort. This is perhaps the most misunderstood. It is not grim, teeth-gritting willpower. That is the effort of the ego, trying to build a better statue of itself. Wise effort is the effort of the gardener, not the sculptor. It has four expressions. First, the effort to prevent unskillful states, like anger or greed, from arising when you see the conditions for them brewing. Second, the effort to let go of unskillful states that have already arisen, not fighting them, but ceasing to feed them your attention. Third, the effort to cultivate skillful states, like kindness and patience, by creating the conditions for them. And fourth, the effort to maintain skillful states that have arisen. This effort is gentle, persistent, and forgiving. You wouldn't scream at a seedling to grow faster. You provide water, sunlight, and pull the weeds. Wise effort is the consistent, compassionate gardening of your own heart and mind. We are now at the threshold of the final two facets, which are the very practices that train all the others, wise mindfulness and wise concentration. But these are deep wells, and they deserve their own space. For now, let this settle. You have an instrument of pure awareness. You have a map of facets that describe a life lived in full attendance. The player piano of your old thinking may still be clattering. That's okay. The practice is not to smash it with a hammer. The practice is, moment by moment, to remember the violin in the case. To choose, in the space between impulse and action, the cooler word, the kinder deed. To see your work as part of your weaving. This is not about being perfect. It is about being present. And in that presence, the unchanging room feels just a little closer, its door a little more familiar. Let us move deeper into the heart of practice. We've spoken of the map, the facets of wise living. Now, we turn to the training ground itself, your own mind. For the map is useless if you cannot see the terrain. This is where we cultivate the very capacity to attend, to see with clarity, and to steady the flickering light of awareness. We enter the sanctuary of attention. The two facets we explore now are the twin pillars of this inner training, wise mindfulness and wise concentration. They are often confused, but they are distinct, like the left foot and right foot in walking. One is breadth. The other is depth. Wise mindfulness is the practice of full attendance we began with. It is the clear, moment-to-moment awareness of what is happening, without judgment. It is the breadth of attention. Imagine you are sitting in a meadow on a warm day. Mindfulness is opening your senses to the entire field. You feel the sun on your skin, you hear the buzz of insects and the rustle of grass, you see the dance of butterflies and the shape of clouds, you smell the earth. You notice it all, equally, without getting up to chase one butterfly or label one cloud as better than another. You are the open, receptive space of the meadow, allowing all experiences to arise and pass within you. In daily life, mindfulness is noticing the tension in your shoulders as you work, feeling the irritation rise in your chest during an argument, savoring the first sip of water when you're thirsty, hearing the tone in a loved one's voice. It is pure, unbiased registration of reality. Wise concentration is different. It is the depth of attention. It is the ability to focus steadily on one chosen object, to the temporary exclusion of everything else. Returning to the meadow, concentration is choosing one single wildflower and bringing all your attention to it. You notice the delicate gradient of color on each petal, the intricate pattern of the stamen, the dewdrop clinging to a leaf, the almost imperceptible sway of its stem in the breeze. The rest of the meadow, the other flowers, the sounds, the sky, fades into a soft background. Your awareness becomes one-pointed, laser-like, absorbed. This is the power that allows for deep insight, for penetrating the surface of things to see their true nature. In our modern world, we are trained in distraction, not concentration. Our attention is fragmented into 1,000 shards, pulled by notifications, multitasking, and the endless stream of content. To cultivate concentration is therefore a radical, countercultural act. It is saying, this moment, this breath, this person in front of me, deserves my whole world. Together, mindfulness and concentration are the complete practice of meditation. Formal sitting meditation is the gym where we strengthen these muscles. But the real application is everywhere. Let's demystify meditation completely. Meditation is not about emptying your mind. The mind thinks. That is its nature, like the heart's nature is to beat. Trying to stop thoughts is like sitting by a river and trying to stop the water with your hands, exhausting and futile. Meditation is about changing your relationship to the flow. Here is a simple, complete practice. Sit comfortably, your spine naturally upright, as if a golden thread is gently lifting the crown of your head. You can close your eyes or lower your gaze. Now, bring your attention to the physical sensation of breathing. Don't think about breathing. Just feel it. The cool air entering your nostrils. The slight expansion of your ribs or belly. The warm air leaving. This is your anchor, your wildflower in the meadow. Within seconds, maybe moments, your mind will wander. It will remember an email, plan dinner, replay a conversation, wonder if you're doing this right. This is not failure. This is the moment of practice. When you notice your mind has wandered, whether it's been 3 seconds or 3 minutes, that noticing itself is a flash of mindfulness. That is success. Then, with gentleness, as if guiding a beloved child back to the path, return your attention to the breath. No scolding. No drama. Just return. You will do this thousands of times. Each return is a repetition, a strengthening of the neural pathway of attention. This is concentration, the returning to the single point. And the spacious, kind awareness that notices the wandering is mindfulness. You are cultivating both at once. As this practice stabilizes, you can expand the field of mindfulness, the meadow, while maintaining a soft anchor on the breath, the wildflower. Notice sounds. Just let them be. Notice body sensations, tingling, pressure, warmth. Notice emotions as they arise, a wave of sadness, a flicker of joy. Notice thoughts themselves, see them as mental events, like birds flying across the sky of your awareness. You are the sky. The birds come and go. You don't have to chase them or cage them. Just watch them pass. This training has one ultimate purpose, to see reality clearly. And when you look with steady, clear attention, you begin to see the 3 characteristics of all conditioned existence: impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and no self. You see impermanence in everything. The breath arises and passes. An itch appears and fades. A joyful thought is replaced by a neutral one. Nothing stays. This is not depressing. It is the pulse of aliveness itself. It is what makes change, growth, and forgiveness possible. You see unsatisfactoriness, or dukkha. You see how the mind constantly leans toward the next thing, how even pleasant experiences contain the seed of their own ending, and how clinging to anything that is impermanent inevitably brings a subtle unease. You see the suffering inherent in the thirst for things to be other than they are. And most profoundly, you see no self in direct experience. You observe that there is no permanent thinker behind thoughts, they simply arise. There is no feeler behind feelings, they simply flow. There is just the process of experiencing, moment by moment, with no solid owner to be found. This is not a philosophy, it is an insight witnessed again and again in the laboratory of your own awareness. This clear seeing is what uproots the causes of suffering. It is the purpose of the path. Yet, as we train, we inevitably encounter the well-worn ruts in the field of our mind, the repetitive patterns that keep us spinning on the wheel of habitual suffering. The Buddha called these the 3 poisons: ignorance, not seeing clearly, attachment, craving, and aversion, hatred, pushing away. They are the fuels for the wheel of samsara, the cycle of reactive patterns. We don't just experience these poisons in a grand, lifetime sense. We cycle through them in miniature realms every single day. These are the 6 realms of daily existence. First, the realm of pride, or the God realm. This is when everything is going your way. You got the promotion, the sun is out, you feel on top of the world. The danger is complacency, a subtle arrogance, and the inevitable shock when this bubble pops. Second, the realm of competition, the Titan realm. This is the constant comparison. Scrolling social media, measuring your life against others, feeling either superior or inferior. It's a realm of exhausting striving and fragile ego. Third, the realm of seeking, the human realm. This is where you are right now. A mix of pleasure and pain, with just enough discomfort to seek meaning and enough intelligence to follow a path. It is the most precious realm for growth. Fourth, the realm of habit, the animal realm. Pure routine. Wake, work, consume, sleep. No deep reflection. Just instinct and habit. Comfortable, but asleep. Fifth, the realm of craving, the hungry ghost realm. A bottomless sense of lack. No matter how much you consume, food, shopping, entertainment, validation, it's never enough. The mouth is tiny, the belly is huge. It's the realm of addiction and insatiability. And sixth, the realm of aversion, the hell realm. Consumed by rage, bitterness, despair, or hatred. The world is an enemy. This is mental and emotional torture, self-created and self-sustained. You visit all of these in a week, sometimes in an hour. The morning coffee in peace is the God realm. The envy at a colleague's post is the Titan realm. The mindful reading of this is the human realm. The afternoon slog of emails on autopilot is the animal realm. The mindless scrolling through videos is the hungry ghost realm. The road rage on the commute home is the hell realm. Wisdom is not about staying in the good realms. It is about recognizing which realm you are in as you are in it. That very recognition is a step out of the wheel. It is a moment of mindfulness that breaks the spell of the pattern. Let me share a story from the recognition of realms, set in a neon-lit Tokyo convenience store well past midnight. A salaryman, his tie loosened, stood staring at the endless rows of canned coffee and strong drinks. His face was a mask of the animal realm. Dull, automatic exhaustion. He picked up a can, then put it back. He did this 3 times. This was the hungry ghost realm, seeking something to fill an emptiness that wasn't physical. His phone buzzed with a work email. His face contorted into sudden, pure fury, the hell realm. He clenched his fist, his whole body trembling with suppressed rage at a demanding boss, at a life that felt like a trap. Then, he stopped. He closed his eyes, right there between the snack aisles. He took one deep, shuddering breath. And another. When he opened his eyes, there was a new quality, a sad, clear awareness. The human realm. He saw the cycle he was in. He didn't buy the drink. He bought a simple bottle of water, nodded to the clerk, and walked out into the night, not cured, but awake. That moment of breath was the pivot. He saw the wheel, and in seeing it, his foot touched the ground outside of it. This is the power of the sanctuary of attention. It is always available. Your breath is always with you. The sensation of your feet on the ground is always here. These are portals back from the realms of suffering, back to the human realm of aware, compassionate seeking. They are doors to the unchanging room. In our next part, we will explore what happens when we stop fighting reality, when we truly make peace with impermanence and discover the fearless compassion that arises from having nothing left to protect. We have built a sanctuary of attention. We have learned to recognize the realms we inhabit. Now, we come to the practice that unlocks the door to true freedom, the conscious, graceful art of letting go. This is not passive resignation. It is not giving up. It is the active, courageous choice to stop swimming against the current of reality. It is the discovery that peace was never in holding on, but in the opening of your hands. The central, inescapable truth of our existence is impermanence. Anicca, in the ancient language. Everything that arises, passes away. Every single thing. The grand galaxy and the fleeting thought share this nature. We know this intellectually, but our entire psychology is built on denying it. We seek permanence in a universe of flux. We want the good job to last forever, the perfect relationship to stay perfect, our health to hold, our loved ones to remain. This desperate, beautiful, impossible clinging is the engine of our deepest suffering. Imagine you are on a beautiful river, riding in a small boat. The scenery is breathtaking, emerald forests, majestic cliffs, sparkling waterfalls. But you are terrified. You see each beautiful vista and think, I must keep this. I must stop the boat here. You frantically throw out anchors, grab at overhanging branches, try to plant your feet in the riverbed to halt the flow. The result? Exhaustion, splinters, torn muscles, and you miss the beauty of the river altogether in your struggle to freeze it. You are fighting the fundamental nature of the river, to flow. Letting go is the act of pulling up the anchors, releasing the branches, lifting your feet. It is sitting back in the boat. The river continues to flow. The beautiful cliffs still pass by. But now, you are available to appreciate them fully, precisely because you know you cannot keep them. You feel a poignant, rich gratitude for their temporary presence. And when the river enters rougher waters, which it will, you are not fighting the current. You learn to navigate it, to move with it. The river itself becomes your guide, not your enemy. This is life lived in accord with impermanence. This practice becomes most vital when we face loss. The loss of a person, a dream, a version of ourselves. Our culture tells us to get over it, to move on, as if grief were a problem to be solved. But grief is not the problem. Resistance to grief is the problem. Grief is the natural, loving response of a heart that has cared. It is the river's current flowing through you. To let go is to let grief be. To give it a seat in the boat. To say, I see you. You are welcome here. Show me what you need to show me. When you stop treating sadness as a mistake, it can complete its work. It softens you, deepens your compassion, and eventually, it changes form, like water evaporating into mist. Let me tell you a story about letting go, set among the crimson maple forests of Vermont. An old woodcarver named Eli was known for his exquisite bird sculptures. He would spend months on a single piece, capturing the tilt of a head, the texture of a feather. He never sold them. They filled his small cabin. One autumn, a fire, sparked by a lightning strike, swept through the hills. Eli got out safely, but his cabin and every single carving were reduced to ash. His life's work, gone. Friends gathered, offering condolences, expecting devastation. When they found Eli, he was sitting on a blackened stump, looking at the smoldering ruins. He was calm. In his hands, he held a piece of charcoal from his favorite carving, a heron. A young neighbor, her voice shaking, said, "Eli, I'm so sorry. They're all gone." Eli looked at the charcoal, then at the young woman. He smiled a sad, deep smile. "They were never mine to keep," he said. "They were on loan from the trees. Now they've returned in a different form. The heron I loved wasn't in the wood. It was in the seeing, in the making." He handed her the piece of charcoal. "This is the heron now. It's just as real." He had internalized impermanence. He didn't deny the loss, but he didn't let it destroy him. He had loved the process, not the possession. His hands were empty, yet he was at peace. This is the essence of non-attachment. It is the most misunderstood jewel of this path. Non-attachment is not cold detachment. It is not indifference. Indifference is a wall. Non-attachment is a bridge. It is the ability to love deeply, engage fully, care profoundly, while simultaneously releasing the demand that what you love conform to your wishes or last forever. It is loving the heron while it is being carved, while it sits on the shelf, and while it returns to ash, knowing its true essence was always in the love and attention itself, which can never be burned. Think of the sun. It shines fully on the ocean, the desert, the flower, the garbage heap. It does not hold back its light from the garbage, saying, "You are unworthy." Nor does it cling to the beautiful flower, saying, "You must never wilt." It gives its energy completely, without discrimination or possessiveness. That is non-attached love. You can care without clinging. You can protect without possessing. You can grieve without despairing. From this fearless space of non-attachment grows the most beautiful flower on the path, compassion, karuna. When you have stopped fighting the river of your own experience, you have energy and space to care for others who are still struggling in the current. Compassion is not pity. Pity looks down from the safe shore. Compassion gets in the water with them. It is the heartfelt wish for all beings to be free from suffering, coupled with the readiness to help. True compassion is rooted in the insight of interbeing, a term coined by the modern teacher Thich Nhat Hanh. We are not separate islands. We are a vast, living network. Look at your hand. The elements that form it, the carbon, calcium, iron, were forged in the hearts of ancient stars. The water in your cells has flowed in rivers, clouds, and the bodies of countless beings before you. The oxygen you breathe is a gift from trees and plankton. You are made entirely of non-you elements. You interare with the whole cosmos. To harm another is, literally, to harm a part of your own extended body. To help another is to nurture the web of life of which you are an intrinsic part. This understanding transforms compassion from a moral, into a natural, intelligent response, like your hand instinctively moving to pull a thorn from your foot. The highest expression of this is the Bodhisattva vow. A bodhisattva is one who, upon seeing the way to freedom, makes a profound commitment, I will not rest in my own liberation until all beings are liberated. This sounds impossibly grand. But it begins in the smallest gestures. It is the vow to use your moments of clarity not just for your own comfort, but to be a clearing in the forest for others. It is the decision to plant lotus seeds wherever you go, knowing the interconnected pond will benefit. I saw the Bodhisattva spirit in a tiny, dusty village clinic in rural Guatemala. A young doctor from the city, Maria, had chosen to work there for 2 years. The conditions were difficult, supplies limited. One day, a mother brought in a seriously ill child. Maria knew the treatment was beyond what the clinic had. The nearest hospital was hours away on terrible roads. The old village healer, a Mayan woman named Ixchel, watched from the doorway. Maria, feeling helpless and heartbroken, began to cry in frustration. Ixchel walked in, placed a hand on Maria's shoulder, and then on the child's forehead. She began to sing a low, repetitive melody in her native language, a healing song. She gestured for Maria to join her, to simply hold space. For an hour, they sat, singing, their voices weaving together. The child's fever broke. It wasn't the magic of the song, but the magic of the shared, compassionate presence. A field of care that gave the child's small body the ultimate medicine, the will to fight, the feeling of being utterly held. Maria later said, "I went there to heal with medicine. Ixchel taught me that healing is presence." My vow changed that day. It's not to fix everyone, but to be utterly present with everyone, as she was. That is a bodhisattva's action, using your specific form, be it medicine, song, or silent attention, to alleviate suffering, without attachment to being the hero. This path of letting go and compassionate engagement leads us to confront the final, great teacher, the one we spend our lives avoiding. It is the ultimate expression of impermanence, the final letting go. It is our greatest fear and, paradoxically, the key to living fully. We must speak of death. We will continue with this essential teacher in our next part. We have learned to let go of the branches, to sit in the boat as the river flows. We have touched the truth of impermanence. Now, we must turn our gaze to the river's final bend, the one we cannot see beyond. We must befriend the ultimate expression of change, our own death. This is not a morbid turn. It is the most life-affirming practice of all. For it is only by honestly facing the end that we can fully appreciate the miracle of the middle. Modern life is a masterpiece of distraction from death. We hide it away in sterile institutions, speak of it in euphemisms, past, lost, no longer with us. We treat it as a failure of medicine or luck, a distant rumor, anything but the one absolute certainty that awaits every single one of us, without exception. In our frantic attempts to build permanent monuments to ourselves, through wealth, fame, children, legacy, we are building sandcastles below the tide line and pretending the ocean doesn't exist. The path of wisdom does the opposite. It invites us to keep death close. Not as a terrifying specter, but as the most compassionate advisor we will ever have. In the ancient monasteries, monks were instructed to meditate in charnel grounds, to contemplate decaying bodies. The purpose was not horror, but liberation, to shatter the illusion of the body as a permanent possession, to viscerally understand, this nature is my nature. This will happen to me. I am not the exception. We do not need to go to such lengths. We can begin with a simple, powerful reflection. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine you have received a sober, certain diagnosis. You have 1 year left to live. Not in pain, but with clarity. 365 days. Let that settle. Not as a thought, but as a felt reality in your body. The clock is now ticking in a way you can no longer ignore. What changes? Does the criticism from a coworker still sting with the same power? Does the accumulation of more possessions feel urgent, or strangely irrelevant? Do you waste an hour scrolling through trivial conflicts online? Do you postpone the difficult, loving conversation? Do you hold on to the old grudge, nursing the story of how you were wronged? Or does the world suddenly become achingly vivid? Does the color of the sky today become a masterpiece? Does the voice of your loved one become a song you must memorize? Does the taste of your food become a celebration? Does the time spent in quiet presence become the most valuable currency? This is the gift of the death reflection. It performs an instant alchemy, separating the gold of what truly matters from the dross of petty concerns. It is the ultimate clarity. The Tibetan teacher Sogyal Rinpoche called it the magic of life. He wrote that contemplating death is like pressing a foot down on the accelerator of your spiritual practice. It brings you instantly into the state of presence. The truth that the Buddha voiced echoes here. The trouble is, you think you have time. We build our lives on the assumption of a tomorrow. But someday is not a day of the week. The only time you are ever guaranteed is this single, breathing moment. The one you are in right now. Letting death be your teacher does not mean living in fear. It means living with urgency of meaning, not urgency of panic. It means prioritizing love over being right. It means choosing connection over isolation. It means saying, thank you, and, I love you, while the other heart is still beating to hear it. I learned this from a taxi driver in Dublin. It was a grey, drizzly evening. He was an older man, quiet. A song came on the radio, an old Irish ballad. He hummed along, then after a minute, he spoke, almost to himself. My wife loved this song. She's gone 10 years now. There was a long pause filled with the swish of tires on wet pavement. You know, he said, his voice softening, we had 23 years. Spent about 14 of them annoyed about something, the wet towels on the floor, me working late, silly stuff. The 9 years we were truly present with each other, that was the marriage. The rest was just noise I wish I could take back. Don't be like me. Don't wait for the diagnosis or the funeral to start paying attention. The person across from you at the dinner table. That's the whole show, right there. His words were a sutra written on rainy glass. The noise he spoke of is the sleepwalking we do, the petty grievances, the mental absences. The show is the irreplaceable, fleeting reality of shared presence. When you internalize this, your relationship to time transforms. You begin to live from the end backwards. You ask, if this were my last year, my last month, my last day, how would I spend this hour? This doesn't lead to grand, dramatic gestures every moment. It often leads to stunning simplicity. It leads to putting the phone down, to really listening, to touching the bark of a tree and feeling its age, to savoring the warmth of a cup in your hands, to forgiving yourself and others for being imperfect, fragile creatures. This awareness also prepares you for the actual moment of letting go. The Zen story of the master on his deathbed illustrates this perfectly. His students were weeping around him. The master opened his eyes and laughed. "Why all this fuss?" he asked. "I've been practicing for this moment my whole life. Every time you let go of a resentment, you practiced for death. Every time you accepted change without raging against it, you practiced for death. Every time you released your grip on how something should be and embraced how it is, you rehearsed the final release. The person who has practiced letting go in life dies with grace. The person who has spent a lifetime clinging dies in terror. So, what of after? What happens when the final breath is released? The traditions speak of rebirth, of bardas, of pure lands. These are maps for a journey no one can fully report back from. Whether they are literally true is less important than their metaphorical power. They all point to one verifiable truth: you die as you lived. The habits of mind you have cultivated, the grasping, the aversion, the clarity, the compassion, these will be your companions in whatever transition comes. If your mind is familiar with peace, it will tend toward peace. If it is familiar with fear and clinging, that will be its final orientation. Therefore, the best preparation for death is to live well now. To cultivate a mind that is clear, kind, and unattached. This is the ultimate act of love for your future self, in whatever form that self may take. Confronting death completes our understanding of impermanence and supercharges our compassion. When you see that every being you meet, the rude clerk, the joyful child, the struggling stranger, is on the same fleeting, precious journey toward the same inevitable end, how can you not feel a tender connection? Your shared mortality is the great leveler, the ultimate basis for empathy. Their time, like yours, is heartbreakingly short. This realization fuels the Bodhisattva vow with a fierce and gentle urgency. From this mature understanding, of impermanence, of no self, of death as teacher, a natural, integrated way of being emerges. It is not a list of rules, but a fluent expression of wisdom in the world. The ancient guides called it the Eightfold Path, but we can see it now as the orchestra of a wise life. We have already met the players: wise view, the conductor who knows the score of reality; wise intention, the commitment to play beautiful music; wise speech and action, the notes played into the world; wise livelihood, the daily rehearsal; wise effort, the discipline of practice; wise mindfulness, listening to the whole orchestra; and wise concentration, mastering your own instrument. When these 8 are in harmony, the music that arises is a life of peace, purpose, and fearless compassion. It is a life that is unshakable not because nothing bad happens, but because the core of your being is rooted in the truth of how things are, not in the fantasy of how you wish they would be. In our next part, we will step back and see how all these threads weave together into the fabric of daily life. We will move from theory and practice into application, how this path looks on an ordinary Tuesday, with traffic jams and dirty dishes and all the glorious, messy details of being human. We have the map. We have met the guides: attention, impermanence, letting go, death itself. Now, we must walk the path with our feet on the ground, in the only time and place we ever can. Here, and now. Let us compose a day. Not a perfect day in a retreat, but an ordinary Tuesday, with its minor irritations and simple joys. This is where the orchestra of a wise life performs its symphony. The overture, waking up. Your alarm vibrates or a bird sings. In the hazy frontier between sleep and waking, there is a pristine moment before you arrive, before the story of today's tasks, yesterday's regrets, tomorrow's worries begins. This is your first practice. Linger there for one breath. Feel the weight of your body on the mattress, the texture of the sheets. Hear the first sounds. For these few seconds, be pure sensation, pure presence. You are not a problem to be solved. You are a living being, gifted another day of experience. Set an intention, not a to-do list. Today, may I be awake. May I meet what comes with curiosity more than judgment. The morning ritual, making tea. You stand in the kitchen. The ritual is automatic. Fill the kettle, choose the leaves or bag. This is your second practice. Slow one motion down. As you pour the hot water, watch the steam rise. See the color bleed from the leaves, swirling in the current. Bring the cup to your nose and inhale before you taste. For 30 seconds, let making tea be the most important thing in the universe. In this small act, you are honoring the entire chain of interconnection: the rain, the soil, the plucker's hands, the journey across oceans. You are drinking the world. When you sip, really taste it. This is not just hydration, it is communion. The commute, a moving meditation. Whether you walk, drive, or ride, the commute is a training ground. Traffic is tight, someone cuts you off. The familiar heat of irritation flares in your chest. This is your third practice. Feel the heat. Name it silently: anger, tightening, heat. Don't follow the story, that idiot. Just feel the physical sensation. Then, feel your hands on the wheel, your seat beneath you. Hear the sound of the engine or the rhythm of your footsteps. You have just created space between stimulus and reaction. In that space, you have a choice. You can feed the anger by honking, gesturing, or rehearsing the grievance. Or you can let the wave of sensation pass through the sky of your awareness, and return to the fact of driving, of moving through space. You might even send a fleeting wish to that other driver. May you be safe. May you be free from haste. This transforms the commute from a battle into a pilgrimage of patience. The workday, the sanctity of attention. You sit at your desk. The tasks await. This is your fourth practice. Choose one single, modest task. Answering one email. Writing one paragraph. Organizing one shelf. For the duration of that task, give it your undivided attention. This is wise concentration in action. Feel your fingers on the keys. See the words form. When the mind inevitably darts to the next task, to a worry, to a memory, gently guide it back to this sentence, this action. You are not just completing work, you are training your mind in the power of one-pointedness. The quality of your attention becomes the quality of your work, and more importantly, of your mind. The difficult interaction, listening as an act of love. A colleague speaks, and you disagree. Your mind is already formulating a brilliant counterargument. This is your fifth, and perhaps most demanding, practice. Just listen. Put your own script aside. Listen not to the words alone, but to the human being behind them. What need is being expressed? What fear or hope is hiding in their tone? Listen with your whole body. Maintain soft eye contact. Breathe. Your job is not to win, but to understand. When they finish, pause. Let their words land. Then, respond from that space of having truly received them. You may still disagree, but the interaction will be one of dialogue, not dueling monologues. This practice alone can revolutionize your relationships. The evening wind down, gratitude without theater. The day is done. You are home. This is your sixth practice. Find one thing, just one, that you can feel a genuine pulse of gratitude for. Not a grandiose, "I'm grateful for my health," if you don't feel it. Something concrete. The way the evening light fell across the floor. The fact that your knees bent without pain as you sat down. The taste of a ripe strawberry. Hold that one thing in your awareness and let the feeling of thankfulness, however faint, bloom in your chest. Do not post it. Do not narrate it. Simply feel it. This is the cultivation of joy, mudita, the antidote to the hungry ghost realm of endless wanting. The night, surrendering to rest. You lie in bed. The mind begins its final review, its planning for tomorrow. This is your seventh and final practice of the day. Feel the profound trust of the mattress holding you. Let your body be heavy. With each exhale, feel a part of you, a muscle, a worry, a roll, soften and release back into the darkness. You are not going to sleep to recharge for tomorrow. You are surrendering the day, the you of today, back to the universe. You are practicing a small, nightly death. Trust that the consciousness that witnessed this day does not die, it simply rests. Let go into that trust. This is how the path lives. It is not a separate spiritual activity. It is the spirituality of activity. It is bringing the qualities of the unchanging room, awareness, acceptance, compassion, into the ever-changing rooms of your daily life. Now, let's enrich this understanding with a new story, set in the bustling heart of a Marrakesh souk. A young potter named Amir had a stall piled high with beautiful, hand-painted bowls. Business was slow. Tourists would finger his work, complain about prices, and walk away. He felt a knot of resentment and anxiety tightening daily. One afternoon, an elderly Sufi teacher, a regular who never bought anything, sat on a stool beside him. "Amir," he said softly, you are trying to sell the bull. Amir sighed, of course. That is my livelihood. The old man shook his head. No. Your livelihood is being a potter. The bowl is already complete. Your anxiety is trying to force a transaction that is not yours to control. Be the potter. Center the clay. Paint the pattern. Fire it with care. Let the bowl's destiny be its own. Your peace is in the making, not the selling. Amir, frustrated but desperate, tried it. The next customer came. Instead of launching into a sales pitch, Amir simply smiled and said, "This one, I painted during the first spring rain. You can see the blue here is like the sky after a storm." He spoke not to sell, but to share the story of the making. His anxiety vanished because his worth was no longer on the line. The customer, disarmed by the authenticity, bought 2 bowls. Amir's practice that day was wise livelihood and wise effort, doing his work with full attention and releasing his grip on the outcome. The selling became a natural byproduct of his presence, not the desperate goal of his day. This is the seamless integration of the path. Your work, your commute, your relationships, all become the clay on your wheel, the opportunity to practice centering, shaping, and letting go. But to sustain this integration through life's inevitable storms, we need a source of resilience, a wellspring of motivation that is deeper than personal comfort. This brings us to the final, boundless dimension of the path, the spirit of limitless care, the heart that chooses to see its own reflection in all of creation. We have learned to walk the ordinary day with wakeful steps. We have found the unchanging room amid the traffic and the dishes. Now, we turn from the cultivation of inner peace to its natural, inevitable flowering, a care that extends beyond the boundaries of our own skin, our own family, our own tribe. We arrive at the practice of the boundless heart. This is where personal liberation intertwines with universal responsibility. It is the understanding that your peace is incomplete until it includes all beings. The traditional teachings speak of the 4 immeasurables or Brahmaviharas, the sublime dwellings of the heart. They are not emotions we manufacture, but qualities we uncover and cultivate until they become our home. They are loving kindness, metta, compassion, karuna, sympathetic joy, mudita, and equanimity, upekkha. Together, they form the complete architecture of a wise and loving heart. Let's build this dwelling, room by room. The first room, loving kindness, metta. This is not sentimental affection or conditional love. It is the radical, unconditional wish for happiness and well-being. It begins with yourself. Sit quietly and silently offer these phrases, feeling their intention. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be happy. May I live with ease. This is not selfish. You cannot offer from an empty cup. This is filling your own well. Then, gradually extend the circle. May my loved one be safe and happy. May a neutral person, like a checkout clerk, be safe and happy. May a difficult person be safe and happy. May all beings, near and far, known and unknown, be safe and happy. You are training the heart to wish well without exception, to see the shared desire for happiness in every being. It is the antidote to fear and ill will. The second room, compassion, karuna. If loving kindness is the wish for happiness, compassion is the wish to relieve suffering. It is the heart's natural tremor in the face of pain, your own or another's. It is not pity, which maintains distance. True compassion gets close. It says, "This pain matters. How can I help?" The practice here is to recognize suffering without being overwhelmed by it. When you see someone struggling, instead of turning away or diving into anxious fix-it mode, pause. Silently acknowledge, just like me, this being knows suffering. May this suffering be relieved. Then, if skillful action is possible and needed, you act from that calm, clear space. Compassion is the active arm of loving kindness. The third room, sympathetic joy, mudita. This is the most neglected jewel, the ability to rejoice in the happiness and success of others. It is the antidote to envy, jealousy, and the resentment that poisons our own joy. When a friend shares good news, instead of the subconscious comparison, "Why not me?" practice mudita. Pause and genuinely feel happiness for them. Your joy is my joy. Celebrate their fortune as if it were your own. In doing so, you multiply joy in the world and free yourself from the cramped prison of scarcity. It turns another's good fortune from a threat into a gift. The fourth room, equanimity, upekkha. This is the grounding floor of the entire dwelling. It is not indifference or coldness. It is profound balance. It is the understanding that all beings are the owners of their own karma, the captains of their own journey. We cannot control others or save them against their will. Equanimity is the spacious, compassionate acceptance of this truth. It allows us to love and help without burning out, without attaching to a specific outcome. It is the deep peace of knowing we can offer our best, but we cannot force the result. It is the wisdom that allows the other three, love, compassion, and joy, to flow sustainably, without exhaustion or despair. When these four dwell together in the heart, you become a true bodhisattva, not a mythical saint, but a person who walks through the marketplace of life with a boundless heart. The bodhisattva vow, however innumerable beings are, "I vow to save them all," is not a statement of heroic capability, but a direction for the compass of your life. It means your primary orientation shifts from, "How can I feel better?" to, "How can I be of benefit?" This doesn't require moving to a monastery. It is practiced in the supermarket line, in the office, on the internet. Let me share a story of the boundless heart in action, set on a crowded subway car in Berlin during winter. The car was packed, the air thick with damp wool and quiet exhaustion. A man in his 60s, clearly homeless, boarded. He was shivering, his clothes threadbare. He didn't beg, he just found a corner and leaned against the door, eyes closed. Across from him, a teenage girl in expensive headphones watched for a moment. Then, she did something simple. She took off her own thick, hand-knitted scarf, a beautiful, clearly loved piece, stood up, and without a word, gently wrapped it around the man's neck. He opened his eyes, startled. She just nodded slightly, returned to her seat, and put her headphones back on. No one clapped. No phone was filming. It was a transaction of pure compassion, witnessed by a car full of people whose own hearts, for a moment, warmed and softened. The girl practiced karuna, compassion, with upekkha, equanimity. She gave the gift freely, with no expectation of thanks or reward, understanding his journey was his own. That scarf was more than wool, it was a thread in the fabric of a compassionate world. This is the Bodhisattva path. It understands that every act of kindness, no matter how small, sends a ripple through the interconnected web of life. You are not just helping one person, you are strengthening the very field of kindness that everyone, including you, draws from. But to give in this way, freely, without exhaustion, requires a profound understanding of abundance. We must confront the core delusion of scarcity that makes us clench our fists. This brings us to the final, crowning practice of the path. Generosity, dana. Generosity is the practical expression of the boundless heart. It is the proof that you understand inner being. The Buddha called it the foundation of the spiritual life. It comes in three forms, each a training in letting go. First, material generosity. This is giving time, resources, skills. This challenges our attachment to mine. Second, generosity of fearlessness. This is offering protection, safety, and calm presence to those who are afraid. This is the gift of the unchanging room to others. And third, generosity of dharma. This is sharing understanding, wisdom, and truthful guidance. This is considered the highest gift. True generosity is marked by joy, the giver's joy, mudita, in the giving itself, before any result is seen. It is the opposite of transactional charity. It is the heart realizing its own nature is to overflow. Imagine a candle lighting another. The first candle loses nothing. The light doubles. This is the economics of the awakened heart. When you operate from the illusion of a separate self, giving feels like loss. When you know your true nature as part of the interconnected whole, giving feels like circulation, like your own heart pumping blood to your own hand. Cultivating this boundless heart is the culmination of our journey. It transforms the path from a self-improvement project into a sacred service. Yet, even with this vast compassion, life will bring confusion, old patterns will re-emerge, and we will forget the map. The final part of the path is not perfection, but a gentle, relentless faithfulness to the practice of return. We have built a dwelling for the boundless heart. We have touched a peace that does not depend on circumstance. Yet, to walk this path is not to arrive at a plateau of permanent serenity. It is to become intimately familiar with the terrain of your own humanity, its peaks of clarity and its valleys of forgetfulness. This part is for the morning after. For the day you wake up and the unchanging room feels like a dream you can't quite remember. For the moment you snap in anger, drown in worry, or find yourself mindlessly lost in the very habits you thought you'd left behind. This is not failure. This is the path itself. We now learn the most crucial skill of all. The art of beginning again. Imagine you are learning the violin. Your teacher assigns a simple scale. You place your fingers, draw the bow. A screech emerges. Do you throw the violin out the window? Do you decide you are a hopeless failure and will never make music? No. You simply stop. You take a breath. You adjust your finger slightly, angle the bow anew, and try again. The second note is pure. You have begun again. Spiritual practice is no different. Each moment of awareness is a note played clearly. Each moment of forgetfulness is a screech. The practice is not to avoid all screeches, that's impossible. The practice is to develop the reflex of gentle return. To begin again, and again, and again, with infinite patience. The mind that judges itself for wandering is the same mind that causes the suffering. It is the player piano criticizing itself for being a machine. When you notice judgment arising, meet it with the same gentle curiosity. Ah, here is judgment. And begin again. Let's normalize the cycles. You will have days where presence feels natural, where kindness flows effortlessly. The garden of your mind seems to bloom by itself. Do not cling to these days. Enjoy them, but know they are weather. You will also have days where the mind feels like a storm-tossed sea, where every interaction is a trigger, where you feel you've made no progress at all. Do not despair on these days. Honor them. They are not setbacks. They are showing you the remaining rough edges of the stone, the places that still need the water of awareness to smooth. They are your most honest teachers. The key is to drop the narrative of progress. You are not climbing a mountain to a summit called enlightenment. You are learning to be at home wherever you are. Sometimes home is a clear, sunlit room. Sometimes it's a messy closet. Your job is not to only live in the clean room, but to bring a gentle awareness to the closet, too. The goal is faithfulness, not flawlessness. So, how do we practice this faithful return in the midst of real life? We develop short circuits of awareness, simple, immediate practices to pivot out of reactivity and back to presence. The one-breath pause, before responding in any charged situation, an irritating email, a demanding child, a critical comment, train yourself to take one conscious, full breath. Inhale, feeling the lungs expand. Exhale, feeling the release. This creates a sacred space between stimulus and response. In that space, you regain choice. The sensory anchor, when lost in turbulent thought, drop instantly into one of your 5 senses. What are 3 things I can see right now? The weave of the carpet, the shadow on the wall, the color of a book. What are 2 things I can feel? The pressure of the chair, the texture of my sleeve. What is 1 thing I can hear? The distant hum of the fridge. This grounds you in the present reality, pulling you from the abstract world of worry. The labeling practice. As strong emotions arise, silently name them. Frustration, anxiety, impatience, sadness. By labeling, you create a slight distance. You are not being frustrated, you are experiencing the energy of frustration. This turns a tsunami into a wave you can observe passing through. The evening review, at the end of the day, spend 2 minutes in kind reflection. Not judgment. Ask, where was I awake today? Recall one moment of true presence. Where did I sleepwalk? Note one moment of unconscious reaction. End by affirming, tomorrow, I begin again. This builds self-awareness without self-condemnation. This path is alive, not dogmatic. The teachings are a raft to cross the river, not a burden to carry on your back forever. The Buddha's final words were a powerful reminder of this: be a lamp unto yourselves. Be a refuge unto yourselves. Take yourself to no external refuge. Do not mistake the finger pointing at the moon for the moon itself. The words here are fingers. Your own direct experience is the moon. Therefore, be pragmatic. If a teaching or practice brings you more agitation, more rigidity, more sense of superiority, set it down gently. It may not be your medicine right now. If a practice brings a sense of openness, ease, and connection, lean into it. This is a path of experiment and discovery, not of blind belief. Let me tell you a story about beginning again, set in a high-altitude research station in the Swiss Alps. A climatologist named Anya was tracking glacial melt. Her work was data, precision, graphs showing an inexorable, terrifying decline. One winter, a massive storm knocked out power and communications for a week. Her instruments were useless. She was alone with the howling wind and her own spiraling thoughts about the futility of her work. On the third day, in despair, she simply put on all her gear and went outside. Not to measure, but to be there. She stood in the blinding white as the storm calmed. She saw the mountain, not as data, but as a vast, ancient being. She felt her own smallness, not as insignificance, but as part of a breathtaking whole. The despair lifted, not because the problem was solved, but because her relationship to it changed. When power returned, she went back to her graphs. But she did so differently. Her work was no longer a frantic attempt to stop the unstoppable, but a loving, precise act of witnessing, a form of bearing testimony. She had begun again. She had found the why beneath the what. Your practice will be like this. You will lose power. You will feel isolated. The data of your life will seem overwhelming. In those times, remember to go outside, metaphorically. To step out of the story of your mind and into the raw, simple presence of being alive. Then return to your work, your relationships, your practice, with a renewed spirit. We are nearing the end of our walk together, but before we conclude, we must gather all these threads: attention, impermanence, compassion, beginning again, and see the stunning, simple tapestry they form. We must look with clear eyes at the nature of the mind that has been doing all this seeking, and discover the freedom that was present before the first step was ever taken. We have walked far together. We have sat in the sanctuary of attention, navigated the river of impermanence, cultivated the boundless heart, and learned the gentle art of beginning again. Now, let us pull back the final veil. Let us look directly at the destination that was never a destination, the peace that was never created, the mind that was never broken. We arrive at the understanding of the unshakable mind. What is it that is unshakable? It is not a personality that remains perpetually calm. It is not a set of beliefs that armor you against life. The unshakable mind is not a state of mind at all. It is the nature of mind itself, before it gets cluttered with states. It is the sky-like awareness that has been our silent witness all along. Storms of emotion, clouds of thought, the brilliant sun of joy, the dark night of grief, all appear within it, but none can stain it, alter it, or destroy it. Your practice has not been about building this sky. It has been about clearing your gaze so you can recognize you have always been it. This is the great secret, the great homecoming. The Buddha sat under the Bodhi tree and did not become enlightened. He remembered his fundamental, enlightened nature. He woke up to what had always been true. Like a man dreaming he is being chased by a tiger, who then wakes up in his safe bed. The relief is not that he escaped the tiger, it's the realization that the tiger was never real to begin with. Our suffering is that vivid dream. Awakening is the moment of waking up within the dream to realize you are the dreamer, safe and whole. So, what does this feel like in practical terms? It means the end of the search. You stop looking for peace, happiness, or yourself out there. You realize you are the very awareness in which the search is happening. This doesn't make life perfect. Pain still hurts. Loss still aches. Injustice still angers. But these experiences no longer define you. They are known. They are held. They are allowed to be exactly what they are, without the added, secondary suffering of resistance, of the story that says, this shouldn't be happening to me. This is true resilience. A tree that is rigid will snap in a strong wind. A tree that is flexible, with deep roots, will bend and sway and remain standing. The unshakable mind is like the flexible tree. It does not resist the wind of experience. It feels it fully, moves with it, and because its roots are in the deep soil of aware presence, it does not break. Its strength is in its yielding, its stability is in its openness. From this grounded, open awareness, life is lived with a quality of engaged freedom. You participate fully, but you are not possessed by the drama. You care, but you do not clutch. You can laugh with abandon and grieve with your whole heart, knowing these are passing seasons in the field of your awareness. This is the middle way in its fullest expression, fully in the world, but not of it, completely engaged, but fundamentally free. Let's crystallize this with a final, integrative story, one that brings all the threads together. In the ancient city of Istanbul, there is a centuries-old cistern, a vast underground cathedral of water held up by countless recycled marble columns. It is dark, cool, and profoundly silent but for the steady drip of water. On the surface, the city is chaos, a symphony of horns, shouts, commerce, and life. But descend the steps, and you enter another world. The water is still, reflecting the dim lights. The columns, taken from different ruined temples, stand without conflict, simply doing their job of holding up the ceiling. The noise of the city is gone, replaced by a deep, resonant quiet. You are that cistern. The surface city is your changing life, your thoughts, roles, sensations, the endless noise of becoming. The underground chamber is the unchanging room, the sky-like awareness. The columns are the practices. Mindfulness, ethical living, compassion, wisdom, that hold the space open. The still water is the unshakable mind, reflecting everything perfectly without being disturbed by it. You can visit the chaotic, vibrant surface anytime you need to work, to love, to engage. But you always know the way back down the stairs to the stillness. You are not the chaos. You are the space that holds it. You are the silent water that reflects it. You are the one who can move between both realms, belonging to neither, benefiting from both. This is the culmination. You are not trying to destroy the surface city. You are learning to appreciate its vibrant, temporary beauty while knowing your true home is in the serene depths. The path has been the process of building the stairs and remembering the way down. As we prepare to conclude our journey, we must address one final, beautiful expression of this understanding. How to live a life of profound contribution without burnout, how to let your realization benefit the world effortlessly. This is the natural outpouring of a heart that has come home. We've discovered the unshakable mind, not as a fortress to be built, but as the sky-like awareness we have always been. From this deep realization, life ceases to be a project of self-improvement and becomes a natural expression of wholeness. The final question is: how does this wholeness express itself in the world? Not as effort, but as gift. When a tree is healthy and rooted, it doesn't try to give shade or oxygen. It simply does, by virtue of its being. When your inner being is rooted in awareness and compassion, your actions in the world naturally become a gift. They are not calculated for reward or recognition, they are the overflow of an inner fullness. This is seva, selfless service, not as a duty, but as the most authentic way of being. You become a clear channel. The peace of the unchanging room flows through you into your work, your conversations, your silences. Your presence itself becomes a sanctuary for others. You don't need to preach or fix, your stability offers a silent invitation. Here, it is safe to be real. Here, you can rest. This is the Bodhisattva spirit embodied in everyday life. It looks like the teacher who sees the struggling child not as a problem, but as a whole person needing connection. It is the nurse whose calm touch conveys more healing than medicine. It is the stranger whose momentary, genuine smile on a crowded street lifts the invisible weight from a dozen shoulders. It is you, choosing patience in a trying moment, not because you're spiritual, but because agitation no longer makes sense to your peaceful nature. Let me share a story that embodies this natural gift, set in the sprawling Jima Lfna square in Marrakesh at dusk. As storytellers, musicians, and food vendors create a cacophony of life, an elderly water seller, Ahmed, moves slowly through the crowds. His job is ancient, carrying a brass urn and cups, selling sips of water for a coin. One evening, a tourist, overwhelmed and dehydrated, fumbled for money but had only large bills. Ahmed simply handed him a cup, poured the water, and waved away the payment. "The water is for thirst," he said in broken French. "The money is for my need. Today, my need is less than your thirst." He moved on. The tourist was stunned. That single cup of water, given without thought of exchange, cut through the sensory overload and became the man's most vivid memory of Morocco, not the sights, but the unconditional generosity. Ahmed wasn't performing charity. He was simply following the natural impulse of a heart unclenched by scarcity. His giving was as natural as a tree offering shade. He was a bodhisattva in a worn cloak, his gift a ripple of coolness in a hot, busy world. Your life, from this understanding, becomes an ongoing act of natural giving. Your work is an offering. Your listening is a gift. Your mindful presence in a checkout line is a subtle service to the collective peace. You stop asking, "What can I get from this world?" and begin to ask, "What can my presence here give?" This does not mean you become a doormat. Wisdom guides compassion. Sometimes the most generous action is a firm boundary, said with calm clarity. Sometimes it is stepping back to allow another to grow. The gift is always tuned to the need of the moment, not the ego's desire to be seen as generous. And so, we approach the end of our formal journey together. But this ending is a beginning, your beginning. The path now is yours to walk, not in imitation, but in authentic discovery. The map has been laid before you. The terrain of your own mind has been explored. We have stood together at the edge of the unchanging room and felt its quiet presence. Now, we must speak of the long walk, how to carry this knowing not for an hour, or a day, but for the whole of a human life. This path is not linear. It does not follow a straight line from confusion to perfect, permanent enlightenment. It is a spiral. You will circle back to the same challenges, fear, anger, clinging. But each time from a slightly higher vantage point, with a little more space, a little more compassion, a little less identification. The goal is not to exit the spiral, but to understand its turning, and to find peace in the journey itself. Imagine you are learning a foreign language in the country where it is spoken. At first, you grasp only simple phrases. You make embarrassing mistakes. With practice, you hold basic conversations. There are days you feel fluent, and days you stumble over every word. But you are immersed. Over years, the language becomes second nature. You dream in it. You no longer translate in your head, you simply understand and speak. The path is like this. You are immersed in the language of awareness. There will be fluent days and stumbling days. But with faithful practice, awareness becomes your mother tongue. You stop practicing mindfulness and simply live mindfully. You stop doing compassion and simply are compassionate. Therefore, the most important quality for the long walk is faithfulness, not flawlessness. It is the gentle commitment to return, again and again, to the breath, to the body, to the present moment, especially when you have forgotten for a long time. It is the kindness you show yourself when you wake up from a period of sleepwalking and say, without judgment, "Ah, I was lost. Now, I am here." To sustain this for a lifetime, your practice must be alive and adaptable. The meditation that served you at 20 may not fit at 40. The teachings that resonated as a parent may shift when you become an empty nester. Hold the teachings lightly. Use what works, and set aside what doesn't, with the understanding that you may pick it up later when the time is right. The Buddha's final admonition was crucial: be lamps unto yourselves. Do not make an idol of the teachings, or of any teacher, including the voice in these words. Your own direct experience is the final authority. Build supports for your practice, not cages. A regular time for quiet sitting is a support. A community of fellow seekers is a support. Inspiring books or talks are supports. But when the support becomes a rigid rule, "I must sit for an hour or I've failed," it becomes a cage. Let your supports be like trellises for a vine. Structures that allow growth, not walls that confine it. And finally, remember the great cycles. There will be seasons of intense practice and seasons of integration, seasons of solitude and seasons of service. There will be a winter of the spirit, where everything feels barren and effortful. And there will be a spring, where insights blossom unbidden. Honor all seasons. The dark, fallow periods are not wasted, they are when the roots grow deep. Let me tell you a story of the long path, set in the high desert of Arizona. An archaeologist named Ben spent decades studying the pottery of an ancient Puebloan people. He could date shards by their patterns, theorize about trade routes, but he felt a disconnect. It was all intellectual. In his late 60s, during a dig, he found a small, almost intact pot, its design simple but elegant. As he held it, something shifted. He wasn't holding an artifact. He was holding the hands of the person who coiled the clay. He felt the sun that dried it, the worry or the song in the maker's heart. The decades of study suddenly fused into a moment of direct, humble connection across centuries. His life's work had been the long, spiral path leading to this simple moment of meeting. He hadn't been studying pots, he had been learning how to see. Your spiritual path is similar. All the practices, the readings, the efforts, are leading you to a moment where you put down the map and simply see, where you meet your own life, and the life around you, with direct, humble recognition. The path of a lifetime is about this deepening of seeing. It is about letting the wisdom seep from your head into your bones, until it becomes the way you meet the world. We have spoken of the inner journey, the personal practice, the solitary confrontation with one's own mind. But no being is an island. The path of awakening, though walked with your own feet, is not walked alone. We are born in relationship, shaped in relationship, and our deepest healing and understanding often occur in the mirror of another. Tonight, we explore the sacred community, the Sangha, not as a formal institution, but as the essential field of interconnected practice. The word Sangha traditionally refers to the community of monastics. But in its widest, most vital sense, it is the community of fellow seekers. It is anyone who, by their presence, their honesty, their own stumbling and awakening, supports you on the path. Your Sangha might be a formal meditation group. It might be a trusted friend with whom you can speak of real things. It might be the authors of books that feel like letters from a wise friend. It might even be the anonymous collective of all those, across time and space, who have chosen the path of awareness. To walk with a Sangha is to be reminded you are not crazy for seeking peace in a chaotic world. It is to have your blind spots lovingly reflected. It is to learn compassion by practicing it in real time, with real, imperfect people. Relationships become our most potent practice ground. In isolation, it is easy to believe you are patient, kind, and wise. Then you go home for the holidays, or have a conflict with a coworker, and all your untested theory meets the fiery forge of reality. This is not failure. This is the gift of the relational Sangha. It shows you exactly where your work is. The key is to shift from seeing relationships as sources of personal satisfaction to seeing them as mutual practice partnerships. Each person in your life is both a mirror and a teacher. The difficult person teaches you patience and boundaries. The loving person teaches you receptivity and gratitude. The suffering person teaches you compassion. Your own reactions within these relationships show you where you are still clinging, still defending a phantom self. Imagine two musicians learning a duet. They must each know their own part intimately. But the real magic is in the listening, the attunement to the other's rhythm, the subtle adjustments, the shared pauses, the harmony that emerges from two separate notes played together with awareness. A conscious relationship is like this. You are responsible for your own instrument, your mind, your heart, but you are playing a shared piece of music. The goal is not for one instrument to dominate, but for beautiful music to arise from mindful co-creation. This requires deep listening, which is perhaps the greatest gift we can offer another. To listen without planning your response. To listen without judging or fixing. To listen with your whole being, as if the speaker is revealing a sacred text. In that space of true listening, healing occurs, for both listener and speaker. I witnessed this in a most unexpected Sangha, a weekly knitting circle in a Melbourne community centre. The women, and a few men, were of all ages and backgrounds. They came for the craft, but they stayed for the circle. As their hands were busy with yarn, a space opened. They shared stories, of grief, of joy, of ordinary struggles. There was no advice giving. Just the soft click of needles and the gift of being heard. A young woman, new to the city and deeply lonely, spoke tentatively of her anxiety. The old woman next to her, without looking up from her intricate cable pattern, simply said, "My love, that stitch you're doing is called the heart's comfort. It's tricky, but it holds." She wasn't talking about the knitting. She was acknowledging the pain and offering the comfort of shared, wordless understanding. That circle was a Sangha. Their practice was presence, woven stitch by stitch, story by story. Your Sangha exists. You may need to seek it, or you may realize it has been around you all along. Cherish it. Contribute to it. Let it be the ground that supports your roots, so you can grow upward toward the light without fear of toppling. And yet, even within the warm embrace of community, there will be times of profound solitude, when you must confront the raw truth of your existence alone. This, too, is part of the path. We have spoken of the vital embrace of community, the Sangha that reflects and supports us. Now, we turn to its essential counterpart, the sacred, nourishing ground of solitude. This is not loneliness, which is the pain of perceived separation. Solitude is the conscious, chosen communion with your own being. It is the necessary silence between the notes that makes the music. In a world that fears stillness and worships constant connection, to claim solitude is a radical act of self-honesty and love. Imagine a deep, clear mountain lake. The Sangha is the stream that feeds it, bringing fresh water, movement, and connection to distant springs. But the lake's depth, its clarity, its ability to reflect the sky perfectly, depends on its still center. If the stream never stopped flowing in, the lake would be forever churned, cloudy. Solitude is that still center. It is where the sediment of your experiences settles, where you see your own reflection without distortion, where you touch the undisturbed depths of your own nature. Without regular doses of true solitude, our inner life becomes a crowded, noisy room where we cannot hear our own intuition, our own heart's whisper. We look to others to tell us who we are, what we need, what we should do. We become strangers to ourselves. Therefore, solitude is not a retreat from life, but a dive into its source. It is where you practice being the ultimate Sangha for yourself, your own wise friend, your own compassionate witness. It is in solitude that you can ask, without an audience, what is true for me? What remains when all the roles are put away? Here, you meet the unchanging room directly, without intermediaries. Creating solitude does not require a remote cabin. It requires intentional disconnection. It can be the first 15 minutes of your day, before screens ignite. A walk without headphones, where your companion is the rhythm of your breath and your feet. Sitting in a park, watching a tree, with no goal but to see it. Simply closing your eyes for 5 minutes in the middle of a busy day and feeling the interior landscape of your body. In this space, you are not doing anything. You are being. And in that being, you remember you are not your accomplishments, your relationships, or your thoughts. You are the awareness that holds all of it. This remembrance is the deepest rest there is. I learned the transformative power of mandated solitude from a lighthouse keeper on a tiny, rocky island off the coast of Maine. He spent 2 months on, 1 month off. For those 2 months, his only human contact was a weekly radio check. At first, he said, the silence was deafening, and his own mind was a torment of memories and anxieties. But as the weeks passed, the noise settled. The silence outside, he said, finally met the silence inside. And when they touched, it wasn't empty. It was full. I could hear the wind telling stories. I could see the personality in each wave. I wasn't lonely, I was in conversation with everything. He didn't find peace by leaving society. He found it by meeting himself, utterly, in the stillness. When he returned to town, the noise felt superficial. His center had become unshakably quiet. Your practice of solitude is what builds that unshakable center. It is where you cultivate the inner resources so that when you return to the world of connection, you come from fullness, not neediness. You relate from wholeness, not lack. Yet, within this sanctuary of self, we must also make peace with the entirety of who we are. The light and the shadow. This leads us to the final, intimate frontier of practice, unconditional friendship with yourself. We have sought community and cherished solitude. Now, we turn to the most fundamental relationship you will ever have, the one you cannot leave, the one that colors every other, your relationship with yourself. This is the ultimate friendship. It is the foundation upon which all inner peace is built. For you cannot be at war inside and at peace outside. Most of us, however, are not friends with ourselves. We are a harsh critic and a defensive defendant, locked in a perpetual courtroom drama inside our own minds. We speak to ourselves with a cruelty we would never tolerate from another. We replay our failures in an endless loop, downplay our successes, and hold ourselves to impossible standards. This inner conflict is exhausting. It is the primary source of the feeling that something is fundamentally wrong. The practice here is metta. Loving kindness, directed inward. It is the conscious cultivation of self-compassion. This is not self-indulgence or vanity. It is the recognition that you, like all beings, are worthy of care simply because you exist. You cannot pour from an empty cup, and you cannot offer genuine compassion to others while secretly believing you are unworthy of it yourself. Begin as you would with a frightened child. Sit quietly. Place a hand over your heart. Feel the warmth, the beat. Then, offer these simple phrases silently, with gentle intention. May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I be at peace. May I live with ease. If it feels awkward or false, that's okay. Notice the resistance. The part of you that scoffs is the very voice of the inner critic, afraid of losing its job. You are not trying to manufacture a feeling. You are planting a seed of intention. You are retraining the inner dialogue. This friendship also means embracing your wholeness, the light and the shadow. Spiritual bypassing is the attempt to leap over our difficult emotions, anger, jealousy, fear, grief, to some imagined state of pure light. It doesn't work. The shadow will wait in the basement of your psyche, growing stronger in the dark. True friendship means inviting all parts of yourself to the table. Imagine your consciousness as a wise, kind host. Joy arrives, welcome it, offer it a seat. Sadness arrives. Welcome it too. Ah, sadness, I see you. You are welcome here. What do you need to tell me? Anger arrives, don't slam the door. Anger, you are fierce. What are you protecting? What boundary has been crossed? By meeting these energies with curiosity instead of condemnation, they lose their destructive power. They deliver their message and then, often, they transform or dissolve. You are not your anger, you are the host aware of the guest named anger. This internal hospitality is the core of resilience. When you stop fighting parts of yourself, you integrate them. Your shadow becomes a source of depth, creativity, and empathy, not a hidden monster. The German poet Rilke wrote, "Perhaps all the dragons in our lives are princesses who are only waiting to see us act, just once, with beauty and courage." Your dragons, your fear, your shame, are waiting for you to turn toward them with the beauty of acceptance and the courage of non-judgment. A story from the world of art illustrates this. In Florence, a master restoration artist, Sophia, was tasked with cleaning a centuries-old, soot-blackened fresco. Her predecessors had used harsh chemicals, stripping away not only grime but the painting's subtle glazes, leaving it lifeless. Sophia chose a different method. She used tiny brushes and a gentle, slow-acting solvent. For months, she did not fix the painting. She simply, patiently, cleared the layers of obscuring dirt. As she did, the original colors emerged, not just the bright blues and reds, but the subtle grays of shadow, the melancholy greens of twilight. The painting's true power was in its full range, its depth of light and dark. Your self-friendship is like this restoration. It is not about painting over your flaws with positive affirmations. It is the patient, gentle clearing of the layers of judgment and shame, allowing your whole, authentic self, with its vibrant joy and its necessary shadows, to be seen, at last, as a complete and beautiful work. When you befriend yourself in this way, you achieve true inner unity. The war ends. From this truce, an unassailable confidence arises, not arrogance, but the quiet certainty that you can handle whatever arises within you. You are finally home in your own skin. And from this home, you can welcome the world. We've walked through many rooms of the great house of being. We've found stillness in solitude and friendship within. Now, we step back to see the whole pattern. Our life is not a series of disconnected events, but a weaving. Each thought, each choice, each moment of awareness or forgetfulness is a thread. The quality of our life is not determined by a single golden strand or a single dark knot, but by the overall pattern we are creating, day by day, breath by breath. This is the perspective of the weaver. You are not a passive victim of a pre-woven fate. You hold the shuttle. With wise intention, you choose the color. With wise action, you pass it through the loom. Mindfulness is your attention to the pattern as it emerges. Concentration is the focus on this single stitch. The threads of joy and sorrow, success and failure, are all part of the material. A life lived only in pleasure would be a tapestry of a single, monotonous hue, beautiful but depthless. It is the contrast, the interplay of light and dark threads, that creates a design with meaning, texture, and resilience. Seeing your life as a weaving fosters responsibility without regret. You see a dark patch, a period of confusion or suffering, not as a ruin, but as part of the whole. It contributes to the depth, the contrast. Perhaps it even makes the adjacent golden thread shine brighter. You can't pull it out without unraveling the integrity of the cloth. But you can choose the next thread. You can, from this moment, weave with more awareness, more kindness, more gold. This understanding dissolves perfectionism. The weaver knows that a perfect tapestry is a dead one, without character. The slight imperfections, the human variations in tension, are what make it authentic, alive. Your so-called flaws, your moments of being off-pattern, are part of what makes the final work uniquely and beautifully yours. Let me share a story of this weaving from the highlands of Guatemala. The Maya women of Santo Tomás Chichicastenango are renowned for their hiles, intricate blouses woven on backstrap looms. Each village, each family, has its own patterns, passed down for generations. A young woman, Ixchel, was learning from her grandmother. She grew frustrated. Her lines wavered, her tension was uneven. She compared her work to her grandmother's flawless cloth and wanted to give up. Her grandmother took her to the market, to a stall selling antique textiles. She pointed to a 100-year-old hill. "See here," she said, tracing a line with a wrinkled finger. "This is where the weaver's child was sick. The tension is tight with worry." She moved her finger. "And here, the pattern dances. This was woven after a good harvest, with a joyful heart." She looked at Ixchel. "The cloth is not just the pattern. It is the life woven into it. Your tension today is your truth. Weave it in. It becomes part of the story future hands will touch." Ixchel understood. She wasn't just making a blouse, she was weaving her life. Her mistakes were not errors, but honest stitches in an ongoing story. Your life is this hill. The tight, worried stitches and the loose, joyful ones together create a fabric of profound authenticity. The goal is not a flawless product, but a true one, a life lived with conscious participation in the weaving. This metaphor also reveals our profound interconnection. Your loom is not isolated. Your warped threads are tied to the looms of your ancestors, your culture, the earth itself. Your weft threads cross and intertwine with the threads of everyone you meet. We are all weaving one immense, living tapestry, the story of this world. Your mindful, compassionate stitches strengthen the entire fabric. Holding this view, the weaver's view, is the culmination of wise perspective. It allows you to engage fully with the work of your life, while holding the result lightly, knowing it is but one beautiful, temporary section of an eternal, communal creation. We have learned to see our life as a weaving. Now, we must learn to listen to its music. For the world is not silent, it is a constant symphony of sound, sensation, and meaning. Yet, most of our suffering comes from listening only to the noisy commentary in our own heads. We must cultivate deep listening. The receptive, open, non-judgmental attention that hears the truth beneath the words, the life beneath the surface. This is listening with your whole being. Not just your ears, but with your skin, your heart, your silent intuition. It is listening to a friend until you hear the unspoken fear behind their complaint. It is listening to the rain until you hear its ancient rhythm. It is listening to your own body until you hear its whispers of need or its sighs of contentment. In a culture obsessed with self-expression, deep listening is a revolutionary act of generosity. It creates a sacred space where healing can begin. Imagine a perfectly still, deep well. Most of our communication is like tossing stones into each other's wells, words that create splashes and ripples, obscuring the depth. Deep listening is the act of becoming still, allowing the other person's stone to sink all the way down, and then waiting in silence to hear the true, resonant plunk as it reaches the bottom, the truth of what they are saying. You listen not to reply, but to understand. You listen not to fix, but to witness. This practice begins with your environment. Right now, pause. Stop reading with your inner voice for a moment. Just listen. What do you hear? The hum of electronics? Distant traffic? Birds? The sound of your own breathing? Don't label these sounds as good or bad. Just let them be vibrations in the field of your awareness. This is the first step, listening to the world without an agenda. Then, bring this quality to your conversations. When someone speaks, notice the impulse to interrupt, to relate their story to yours, to give advice. Gently set that impulse aside. Soften your gaze. Listen to their words, but also to their tone, their pauses, what they are not saying. Your silent, full presence is the greatest gift you can offer. It says, you exist. Your experience matters. Finally, and most importantly, listen to yourself. We are often the loudest noise in our own lives. Sit quietly and listen to the stream of thoughts without getting swept away. Listen to the sensations in your body, the tightness, the ease, the energy. Listen to the emotional tone underneath it all. This is not self-analysis, it is self-attunement. You are learning the unique language of your own being. A story from the Canadian Arctic illustrates this. An Inuit elder was teaching a researcher about their hunting ways. The researcher asked, "What is the most important skill for tracking on the ice?" He expected an answer about reading snow drifts or animal signs. The elder thought for a long time. "Silence," he said. "You must become so quiet inside that you can hear the ice breathe. It tells you where it is thin. You can hear the seal's heartbeat under the water. If your mind is full of your own thoughts, you are deaf to the world. And a deaf man on the ice is a dead man." This is deep listening as a survival skill, not just for the body, but for the soul. When we are deaf to the whispers of our own intuition, to the subtle needs of our relationships, to the cues from the world around us, we are navigating thin ice. To practice, start small. In your next conversation, commit to listening fully for just 2 minutes before you speak. When in nature, spend 5 minutes just listening with your eyes closed. Before bed, listen to the symphony of your body for 1 minute. This practice rewires your relationship with reality from one of projection to one of reception. It opens a channel for wisdom that is not your own thinking to flow through. From this deep receptivity, a new kind of speech naturally arises. One that is considered truthful and kind. But that is a practice for another time. From the well of deep listening flows our response. What we say, and how we say it, is the first visible ripple our inner world makes in the pond of shared reality. This is true speech, or wise speech. It is not about being polite or saying the right thing. It is the art of making your words an authentic expression of your clearest, most compassionate awareness. It is speaking from the unchanging room, not from the reactive front rooms of anger, fear, or pride. Most of our speech is unconscious. It is gossip, complaint, empty chatter, or defensive reaction. We use words as weapons, as walls, or as currency to buy approval. True speech asks us to pause in the space between hearing and speaking, and to use that space as a sacred workshop. Before words leave your lips, let them pass through 3 gates, as the sages taught. First gate, is it true? Not just factually accurate, but is it authentic to your experience? Are you speaking from direct perception, or from assumption, rumor, or the desire to impress? Second gate, is it kind? Will these words create connection or separation? Will they ease suffering or add to it? Kindness is not weakness. Sometimes the kindest truth is firm and direct, but it is never cruel. Third gate, is it necessary? Does this need to be said, by me, right now? Much of our speech is unnecessary noise that fills silence out of our own discomfort. The most powerful speech is often compassionate silence. When speech can pass all 3 gates, it carries a unique power. It cuts through confusion without causing harm. It builds bridges. It has weight, because it comes from integrity. Practice this not as a rigid rule, but as an aspiration. You will often speak before you think. When you realize it, simply note it. No need for self-flagellation. That noticing is the awakening of mindfulness around speech. Next time, the pause may be a half-second longer. Let me tell you a story about true speech from a boardroom in Stockholm. A young executive, Ellen, was in a high-stakes meeting where her team's project was being harshly criticized by a senior partner. The room was tense. The instinct was to defend, to counterattack. Ellen felt the heat in her chest. But she remembered the gates. She took a slow breath, listening past the partner's aggressive tone to the core concern about risk. When he finished, she didn't defend. She said, "Thank you for highlighting the risks so clearly. You're right to be concerned. Our data on that specific point is from phase 1. Would it be valuable to the discussion to see the updated mitigation plan we've built based on that exact concern?" She spoke what was true. They had updated the plan, in a way that was kind, respectful, non-combative. And necessary. It moved the meeting forward. The energy in the room shifted from battle to collaboration. Her speech wasn't a weapon, it was a tool that repaired the discussion. She spoke from the still center, not from the storm. True speech also includes the words we say to ourselves. The inner critic's voice is often the harshest, bypassing all 3 gates. Practice bringing the same standard to your self-talk. When you make a mistake, instead of, "I'm so stupid," can you find a true, kind, and necessary thing to say? "That didn't go as I hoped. I can learn from this." This inner speech reshapes your neural pathways from hostility to friendship. Remember, the goal is not to become a silent statue. It is to make your speech a conscious contribution to the environment, a stitch of gold or a stitch of burlap in the shared tapestry. Your words are seeds. True speech plants seeds of clarity, trust, and peace. We have learned to listen deeply and speak truly. Now, we turn our attention to the very lens through which we perceive our world. Gratitude is often reduced to a mental list, a ritual of counting blessings. But true gratitude is not a thought, it is a way of seeing. It is the conscious choice to perceive the world not through the lens of scarcity, what is missing, what is wrong, but through the lens of abundance. What is already here, what is already given. This shift in perception is radical. The mind conditioned by fear and desire is a problem finder. It scans the horizon for threats and lacks. The grateful mind is a gift finder. It scans the same horizon and sees miracles, the miracle of breath, of a functioning body, of light, of connection. The facts of your life may not change, but your experience of life transforms completely. This practice is not about denying pain or injustice. It is about refusing to let pain be the only thing you see. It is about widening the aperture of your attention to include the background of grace that is always present. Even in deep sorrow, there can be gratitude for the love that caused the grief, for the friend's supportive hand, for the capacity to feel deeply. Imagine two photographers in the same field at dusk. One has a telephoto lens focused only on a single, withered flower. That is all he sees: decay, ending, imperfection. The other uses a wide-angle lens. She sees the withered flower, yes, but also the majestic oak beside it, the colors of the sunset, the mist rising from the pond. Her photograph contains the withering, but it is held in a context of vast, enduring beauty. Gratitude is that wide-angle lens for the soul. To cultivate this, we move beyond the list. We practice micro-gratitudes. Not, I am grateful for my health, but feeling the gratitude for the specific sensation of cool water on your throat when you drink. Not, I am grateful for my home, but seeing the play of morning light on your wall and feeling a pulse of thanks for that beauty. This roots gratitude in the sensory, present moment, where it becomes a lived experience, not a concept. A story from the dense rainforest of Costa Rica shows this shift. A research biologist, Mateo, was studying frog populations. For weeks, he found nothing. The forest was silent, the species he sought seemingly gone. He felt a crushing sense of failure and ecological grief. One afternoon, exhausted, he simply sat on a log and stopped looking. He just sat. And as he sat, his perception shifted from seeking to receiving. He noticed the intricate lattice of a spider web beaded with rain. He saw the impossible green of a moss-covered stone. He heard the layered symphony of insects. He hadn't found his frogs, but he had found the forest. His mission's failure was still real, but it was now held in a context of awe for the staggering, intricate life that persisted. His grief remained, but it was no longer despair. It was love, dressed in different clothes. He began his walk back to camp not defeated, but humbled and strangely full. He had put on the wide-angle lens. This is the power of grateful seeing. It does not solve problems, but it changes the ground from which you meet them. It builds an inner reservoir of enough that makes you resilient to the winds of not enough. Your practice, once today, stop. Look around you. Find one utterly ordinary thing, a doorknob, a patch of sky, the function of your lungs, and for 10 seconds, consider the chain of miracles that brought it to you. Let the feeling of thankfulness, however faint, be the reality, not the thought. You are retraining your brain's perceptual filter from threat to gift. From this grounded place of enough, a natural generosity arises. When you perceive the world as abundant, sharing becomes the most logical thing in the world. This leads us to the final, crowning practice of an awakened life. From the wide-angle lens of gratitude, we see the world not as a collection of scarce resources to be hoarded, but as a flowing, abundant gift. And when we feel ourselves as part of that flow, the natural impulse is to give. This is generosity, not as a moral obligation, but as the most authentic expression of an interconnected heart. It is the proof that you understand interbeing. To give is to complete a circuit, it is to acknowledge that what comes to you is not for you alone. We often think of generosity in terms of money or grand gestures. But true generosity has 3 profound layers, each a deeper training in letting go. Material generosity, Dana. This is the giving of resources, time, and skills. This practice directly challenges the deeply held notion of mine. It loosens the fist. The generosity of fearlessness, Abhyadana. This is offering your calm, steady presence. It is the gift of listening without judgment, of being a safe harbor for someone in distress, of embodying the unchanging room so others may sense its peace. This gift says, you are not alone. I am here with you. The generosity of wisdom, Dharma Dana. This is the highest form of giving. It is sharing insight, truth, and understanding to help others find their own way. This is what a true teacher offers. It is not about making others dependent on your wisdom, but about offering a lamp so they can see their own path. The beauty of generosity is its boomerang effect, not as a cosmic trade, but as a psychological and spiritual reality. The act of giving itself changes the giver. Clenching creates tension, opening creates release. When you give freely, you experience the truth that you are not diminished. In fact, you feel more connected, more abundant. The candle that lights another loses no light, it creates more illumination. Imagine a mountain spring. It does not calculate how much water to give. It simply flows from its source. If it tries to dam itself up, it becomes a stagnant pond. Its nature is to overflow. Your true nature, when unconstricted by the fear of scarcity, is also to overflow, with kindness, attention, and care. A story from the floating markets of Bangkok illustrates this. An elderly woman, Mei Li, sold bowls of noodle soup from her small boat. Her prices were famously low, and she gave extra portions to the boatmen who worked the canals. A younger, competitive vendor scoffed, "You'll never get rich that way." Meili smiled. "The canal feeds me," she said simply. "The fish, the rice, the water for my broth. The boatmen keep the canal alive. If I take from the canal but do not feed the canal, the water will become bitter, and so will my soup." She understood the ecosystem. Her generosity was intelligent self-interest at the level of the whole. She was tending to the health of the system of which she was a part. Her profit was not just in coins, but in a thriving, reciprocal community where her own sustenance was secure. Your generosity is like this. Every kind word, every patient moment, every shared resource strengthens the web of goodwill that supports everyone, including you. You are feeding the canal. Practice generosity today in its simplest form. Hold a door open with full presence. Offer a genuine compliment without caveat. Let someone else have the last word, or the parking spot, or the credit. Give your full attention to a conversation. Notice the inner feeling, not of loss, but of connection. This is the economics of the awakened heart. The more you circulate, the richer everyone becomes. As we practice this open-handed giving, we prepare for the final, ultimate release, the letting go that every moment has been preparing us for. We must now bring the full weight of our understanding to the great teacher we have been avoiding. We have arrived at the final contemplation, the one that gives meaning and urgent beauty to all that has come before. We have built a home in awareness, cultivated a boundless heart, and practiced the overflow of generosity. Now, we must face the truth that makes all these practices not just wise, but essential, the truth of impermanence. Everything you have, everything you are, everything you love, is on loan. This is not a morbid thought. It is the liberating truth that unlocks a life of fearless love and profound presence. We have touched on this throughout our journey. Now, we look directly into its eyes. Your body is changing with every breath. Your thoughts are fleeting clouds. Your relationships are dynamic dances. The world itself is in constant flux. To resist this is to resist reality itself. A battle you cannot win, and the source of your deepest suffering. The great letting go is the conscious, courageous alignment with this flow. It is the final and most profound practice. This is not passive resignation. It is the active choice to love what is mortal, to care for what is temporary, to pour your heart into moments you know will pass. It is what gives your love its poignancy and your joy its intensity. You don't love the sunset less because it will fade. You love it more fiercely because of its fleeting beauty. The ultimate practice of letting go is the contemplation of death. Not as a distant, abstract end, but as your constant companion and most honest advisor. As we discussed earlier, keeping death close clarifies life. Imagine holding a piece of ice in your hand. You cannot cling to it. If you clutch it tightly, it melts through your fingers. If you hold it openly, feeling its coolness, its shape, its temporary nature, you appreciate it fully before it returns to water. Your life is that piece of ice. Clutching leads to panic and loss. Open-handed awareness leads to appreciation and peace. This understanding transforms how you live. It asks the pivotal question: if I knew this were the last year, the last month, the last day of my life, how would I spend this present moment? Would I spend it rehearsing grievances, worrying about opinions, chasing trivial distractions? Or would I spend it seeing, truly seeing, the face of my loved one, feeling the warmth of the sun, saying what needs to be said, doing what needs to be done with a whole heart? This is not a practice for someday. It is the practice for now. Every moment offers you the choice, to cling, or to let go. To sleepwalk, or to be awake. To withhold, or to love fully. Let me share a final story, one that weaves all our threads together. In a hospice in New Zealand, a nurse, Hannah, cared for a man named Leo, a former woodcarver who was nearing his end. He was at peace but had one regret: a long rift with his brother, unresolved for decades. He had no energy to write or call. Hannah listened. The next day, she brought in a simple, smooth river stone and placed it in his hand. "Tell me about your brother," she said. "Not the argument. Tell me about him." Leo closed his eyes, holding the stone. He spoke of their childhood, fishing together, his brother's laugh. As he spoke, his face softened. Hannah then said, "If your brother were here, holding this stone, what would you want him to know?" Leo was silent for a long time, tears tracing his cheeks. Finally, he whispered, "I would want him to know, the fish we never caught were just as good as the ones we did." Hannah took the stone. "May I hold this for you?" He nodded. She placed the stone on his windowsill, where the light hit it. Leo died a few days later, peaceful. Hannah mailed the stone to the brother with a simple note: "Leo asked that you have this. He spoke of fishing with you. He said the fish you never caught were just as good." The stone was not an object, it was a vessel. It held Leo's letting go, of the grievance, of the need for a specific resolution, of life itself. Hannah's gift was the generosity of fearlessness, holding space for a profound release. The brother, upon receiving it, reportedly held the stone for an hour, weeping, his own heart unclenching after decades. A final act of letting go created a ripple of healing beyond the grave. This is the culmination. Your life, too, is a vessel. You are here to hold experiences, joy, sorrow, love, loss, and then, with grace, to let them flow through you and return to the source. Your practice is to polish this vessel with attention, to keep it open with compassion, and to trust the process of filling and emptying. So, we end where we began, in the unchanging room. You are that awareness. The storms of life, the beautiful sunsets, the final goodbyes, all appear within you. They come and go. You remain. Unharmed. Complete. At peace. The path is not out there. It is the remembering of this, moment by moment. It is the gentle return when you forget. It is the choice, in this very second, to be here fully. Thank you for walking this long and winding path with me at Monk's Temple. Wherever you are, whatever hour it is, know that this teaching is complete in you. You are the map, the traveler, and the destination. May you live from the depth of your being. May your heart remain open. May you know the unshakable peace of your true nature. Walk gently. Be awake. You are already home.